Welcome back to TestIO Open Mic, the podcast that explores the fascinating world of software testing. I'm your host, Charlie, and today we're continuing our Testers Spotlight series with a guest from Ukraine. Joining us is Tereza, a diamond-level tester with a unique background in computer systems and networks. Tereza, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with something fun. I hear you're quite the bookworm. You mentioned having a complete collection of Harry Potter. Do you have a favorite book in the series?
Oh, that's a tough choice. But I have to say, reading those books to my children at bedtime was magical. It was a great way to get them to bed on time. They always looked forward to the next chapter.
That's a wonderful family tradition. Now, let's talk about your journey into testing. You have a master's degree in computer systems and networks. How did that lead you to software testing?
Well, Charlie, it wasn't a direct path. After university, I didn't immediately work in my field. But when my children grew up, I decided to refresh my knowledge. I explored courses in testing, programming, and design. Testing resonated with me, and I found TestIO as a way to gain practical skills. I fell in love with the work and kept developing my skills to achieve the best possible results.
That's fascinating. What would you say was the biggest challenge when you started testing?
Initially, understanding bug severity was tricky. What seemed critical to me might end up being a minor issue. But I learned quickly. The best part is seeing developers' responses when my bug reports lead to improvements. It's rewarding to know I'm helping make products better.
That's a great perspective. You've achieved diamond level status as a tester. What do you think contributed to that success?
From the beginning, I focused on quality over quantity in my reports. I'd rather triple check my submission than write numerous reports, hoping half will be accepted. For me, the diamond level is confirmation that I'm working on myself in the right direction.
Excellent approach. Can you give us a peek into your work environment?
Of course, I've set up my workspace in my living room opposite a window overlooking my garden. It's always full of light. My setup is simple, a Windows 10 laptop and my smartphone. That's all I need and everything's within reach.
Sounds like a lovely, productive space. What advice would you give to newcomers in the testing field?
Remember that your managers and fellow testers were once beginners too. They understand your worries and want to help. Study the reports of other testers, especially the accepted ones, to learn how to structure your own. Read the rejected reports and team leader comments to learn from others' mistakes. And most importantly, don't give up after a few failures.
That's fantastic advice, Tereza. Now let's shift gears a bit. If you could learn anything in just half an hour, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. Languages. I'd love to speak English like a native speaker, and then maybe add German and Hindi to the mix.
Ambitious. One last question. What's your idea of a perfect day?
My perfect day starts with sunrise over the Carpathian mountains and ends with a cup of coffee on Hoverla Peak. I've been there twice, and it's a wonderful experience. But you know, any day where someone says thank you to me is pretty wonderful too.
That sounds absolutely beautiful, Tereza. Thank you so much for sharing your story and insights with us today. Your journey from computer systems graduate to diamond level tester is truly inspiring. To our listeners, if Tereza's experience has sparked your interest in testing, remember that TestIO welcomes testers from all backgrounds. You can find links to get started in our show notes. That's all for this episode of TestIO Open Mic. If you enjoyed this conversation, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, happy testing.